Obviously, you're free. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Middos. Okay, here we go. Let me go back to where we go. The base olive. The Temple Mount was 500 amas by 500 amas. The majority of the spot of the space was in the south. The second largest area was in the east. The third largest area was in the north, and the minority of the space was in the west. The area that had the greatest size also saw the most use. They also all those entering the Temple Mount entered toward the right and circle and exit toward the left, except for one to whom something adverse occurred. For he would encircle toward the left. Why are you circling toward the left? Because I'm a mourner. May the one who dwells in this house comfort you. Because I was excommunicated, may the one who dwells in this house still compassion into your colleagues' hearts, that they should draw you close. These are the words of Reb Meir. Reb Yossi said to Reb Meir, you have made them out as if they were overstepped the bounds of the law. Rather, they should say, may he who dwells in this house instill reason into your heart, that you should hearken to the words of your colleagues, and they shall then draw you close. Inside of the Temple Mount wall was the Soreh, 10 tefachim high, and there were 13 breaches in it. It breached by the Greek kings. The Jews once again fenced in those breaches and declared 13 prostrations according to them. Inside the Soreg was the Kale, 10 amet long, and there were 12 steps there. The height of each step half an amma, and its tread half an amma. All the steps that were there on the temple, the height of each step was half an amma, and its tread was half an amma, except for those of the antechamber. And all the entryways and gateways that were there, their height was 20 amos, and their width was 10 amos, except for that of the antechamber. All the entryways that were there had doors, except for that of the antechamber. And all the gateways that were there had lintels, except for the Tazi gate, where there were two stones leaning upon each other. And all the doors of the gateways that were there were changed to gold, except for those of the Nicanor gate, because of a miracle occurred with them, and some say because of their capuchon. Okay.
Okay. Continuing with the general rules. All of they were all very high walls. Right, this eastern wall over here had a particularly low spot. Okay, remember, Har Zaysim is to the east. Okay. And so he, from the point where he stood on Har Hazaisim, he was able to look through the gates and through the walls in order to while he was doing the sprinkling of the Para's blood. So he's able to see all the way up to the entrance of the Heichal. So everything, if you see over here, it's all in a neat line over here. There's the Heichal over there, coming all the way through, and he would be able to see over that wall from where he was standing on the Har Zaysim to directly to see the Heichal.
Okay. It's a long distance.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. It's not. I mean, it's not that long. You've seen where Har Zaysim is now.
Right.
It's not that far. It's just you want to have line of sight to the Heichal.
Right.
Okay. Ezras Hanashim. So now we're giving the dimensions of the places of the Azara. Okay, so here this is the Ezras Nashim, this whole square over here. And this square is Orech 135 al 135. It's 135 square. Okay, in meter terms, we're talking about sort of 65 meters odd square.
Okay.
Okay. Arba l'shachos hayu ba'arba miktzos, and as you see, there are 4 offices, let's say, four rooms in the 4 corners. Shel arba'im v'arba'im amma. Each one of these is 40 ammas squared.
Big area. Whole thing is a very large area.
Yeah, so we're talking about like a 20-meter square area over here.
If you see, if you were on the high above, if you were on not high, if you were facing the west of the wall, right?
The western wall is up at the top.
Up at the top. So yeah. How far back would that go from where, if we were there now? How far back would that be? The plaza itself, probably.
No, the western wall is a retaining wall of the Har Bayis.
Right.
It's one of those external ones. Let me see if I've still got that picture of the Har Bayis. Yes, I do actually. So let me just change my share and just share the whole desktop here. Okay. The Kotel is about there.
Right.
This little section over here is the Kotel. It's not like, remember, the Har Bayis is like 500 meters. Okay, that's half a kilometer. It's a huge square over here.
Right.
Okay, so that's so that little section of like 50 meters of western wall is about a tenth of this wall.
Right.
Okay.
There's another place where you can see the wall. It's like a little alleyway.
Yeah, that's right. It's called the Kotel Katan. That's a little bit closer in. It's that's more over here.
Sometimes people go diving over there. And,
yeah, that's right.
So, okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. So anyway, back to here. So all of these four things that were 40 by 40 were lo hayu makoros, and they did not have a ceiling. Okay, and this is how they're going to be in the final Beis Hamikdash. Because we have a pasuk to rely on in from Yechezkel, which says that he took me to the outer courtyard, and he took me to the four sections of the courtyard. Each one had a courtyard in the corner. And the Arba Miktzos Chatzer is Keturos, and the important word that we're clapping on over here is the word Keturos. That they're described as Keturos, and Keturos Ela She'enan Mekoros. And what does Keturos mean? That they don't have a ceiling. They're not enclosed. Keturos, because it seems like there was a smoke coming out of them, and if there's a smoke coming out of them from the top, then obviously there's no ceiling. But like Keturos, right? You see the word Keturos in there?
Keturos is okay.
Okay, so Keturos. Okay. So what is the purpose of these four offices over here? Dromis Mizrachis. So here's the Dromis Mizrachis over here. Ki haitza lishkas Nazirim. This is where the Nazirim went. Shisham Nazirim mavashlim es shalmein u'megalchin es saran. So here they would, they've got to bring a korban, which is eaten, right? And even though it's a korban that's called shimkalim, because the Nazir takes it home and eats it after his whole ceremony, so it can be eaten anywhere in Yerushalayim. But there's the zroa b'sheila, which is a section that he has to give to the kohanim, and the kohanim. And since it's being done over here, so he cooks it in the azara over here to give to the kohen right away. Okay. And also he has to shave his hair and he has to put his hair in the fire underneath the pot.
Right.
So that all happens in here. So you'll have the distinct smell of
where's your arrow?
Meat and burning hair.
Where's your arrow on that? You said here.
Can you see my arrow here?
Okay, I was looking for an arrow. Let's see. Okay,
all
right.
A plus. Yeah.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Mizrach is Tzfonis. So here, this one, the northeastern one. He haisa lishkasa eitzim. As you see, it's labeled here nicely. Sheshama kohanim bale mumin maslina eitzim. So kohanim who have mumin are not allowed to do the avodah. But they still have a job, and they have to check the wood to make sure it's fit to go in the mizbeach. If it's got worms in it, then it's disgusting, and we don't want to put that on the mizbeach. Okay. So any wood that's found that has worms is pasul. Tzfonis maravis. Okay, northwest. That's over here. Hi haisa lishkas mitzoraim.
I'm sorry. Has that wood been consecrated, ready to be used?
Yeah, it was donated to the temple, and it's ready to be used. Absolutely.
It has worms. They check it again. It has worms.
They check it and they find worms. So what do you do with it if it's got worms? You sell it and use the proceeds to buy new wood.
Okay, same as you would an animal with a bone or something like that. The same thing. Okay.
It's actually a really good question that you asked, because we did make a couple of points that some things don't get redeemed. So, for example, if a bird loses a limb, I don't think a bird offering, it cannot. I don't think you can do a pidyon on a bird offering. But so where does wood fit in with this? I think it can. I want to say that it can be sold and use the money to buy new wood, but I don't feel confident enough to say that authoritatively. We'll have to keep our eyes open for that when on our next run of Chazara, because I'm pretty sure we've seen that somewhere.
Now you mentioned birds, I just saw something when I was on I-24 News while I was waiting for you to come on. There's an organization, I don't know what they call it, I don't know who the man is, but they use birds, I don't know what kind of birds of prey or whatever they are, to find bodies, to find skulls, to find bodies that the birds are trying to eat. People who they can't find, the survivors from the massacre. They can't find them.
I didn't need to know that. Thank you.
I just thought it was an interesting thing that who would ever think of something like that, But
I didn't think about it, and I wish I could unthink about it. Thank you.
sorry, I take it back. I take it back. Sorry.
Okay, back to the Lishkas Mitzorayim. So what do the Mitzorayim need to do? Well, they've got to the Mitzorayim have to go to mikveh for the one final time before they've got to shave the whole body again, and they've got to go into the mikveh, and there's a mikveh inside this Lishkas Mitzorayim. Maravis Dromis, the southwestern corner over here. This is interesting because Amar Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov shachachti mahasai mesameshes. Now, actually, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov is considered the main Tana of the whole Masechta that we're reading now, and he freely admits inside this Mishnah that he says, I can't remember what it was, and the discussion comes in, and Abba Shalom sticks up his hand and says, Sham hayun nosnin yain v'shemen v'hi haisa nikres lishkas beis shemanya. So this is the lishka of beis shemanya, where they would store the wine and oil that had been donated for korbanos. Okay, v'chalaka haisa berishana, and it was originally it was smooth, and then the Ezras Nashim. Sorry, this whole Ezras Nashim over here, meaning chalaka means it was the walls of the Ezras Nashim had no protrusions. Okay, and afterwards they made balconies in the walls over here, right? In these three walls over here, they made balconies. Why? So that the women, so the women could go and be in the balcony above here, and the men could be below. So that they shouldn't be mixed dancing. Okay, and
at a certain time, like for Sukkot.
Yes, exactly. So during the time, this is one of the main features of the year was the Simchas Beis HaShoeva, and the women wanted to come and see as well. So they had these balconies up here, so that the women could take a look from the top, and the men would be at the bottom. So a lot of people think because this is the Ezras Nashim over here that the men weren't allowed in here. This was where women were allowed to come in the Mikdash. Men were also allowed to come in here, but it's a limit of where you could go to under normal circumstances. So, for example, you'll also have this area over here that's called this little section over here just inside Shar Nikanor is called the Ezras Yisrael, where Yisraelim were allowed to come under normal circumstances. But if you had a korban to bring and you needed to do smicha, we'll get to that in a minute, but you were allowed beyond that area. Anyway, back to our Mishnah. So there are 15 stairs going up into the Ezras Yisrael through the Shar Nikanor. Okay, right? We have the 15 Pirkei Tehillim that start with Shir HaMalos or Shir LaMalos, Shalem Halevim Omrim Bashir, and and the Levium would stand on these stairs to sing shir during the day. Lo hayu trutos ela mukafos kechatzi gorin agula. So these stairs were also unique in the temple, that instead of being rectangular, they were circular stairs going up Shar Nicanor, as you can see in the diagram. Okay, Mishnah Vav, uleshachos hayu tachas.
Were the Levium the only one that were allowed to go on those stairs?
No, I mean you wanted to get through.
You wanted to get through, anyone can go up there. Yeah.
It was just a convenient place for Levium to stand there.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to see if that was limited to
okay.
Levium.
So there were a couple of chambers in the Ezras Israel. Pesuchos the Ezras Anashim shesham haLeviim nosnim kinoros. So they had a couple of chambers that were open in this direction, where you see this little arrow over here. There were a couple of places where the Levium could store their musical instruments. Okay, the Levium put their harps and their lyres and their cymbals. The whole kleshir and any other musical instruments got stored in these little offices, these little storerooms over here. Ezras Yisrael Haisa Orech Mea Ama Ushloshim V'chamesh. So as you might expect, this is the same width as this. So it's 135 wide. And there are 11 amas in this direction. So it is very long and very wide and shallow.
Narrow. You mean narrow?
Narrow, yeah. And also here, between here and here, this is now the Ezras Kohanim, and that's also, of course, 135 wide. So this area between here and the Mizbeach is called the Ezras Kohanim, and that's also 11 amas.
Only for Kohanim, right?
Right. Well, when you say only for Kohanim under normal circumstances, okay? Because if Israel brought a korban, he had to bring the korban, and he had to do smicha right before the shechita, and the shechita is down in this area over here. So if a Yisrael had to bring a korban, he would bring a korban. So they had some tiles over here dividing between the Ezras Yisrael and Ezras Kohanim. Now Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov there was a step, a big step, Gova Amma, right, 1/2 meter high, so that you shouldn't like accidentally trespass between the two areas. And furthermore, there was a stage on top of that. And that furthermore had three steps, each of a 1/2 amma. Right, so it's actually 2.5 amas higher. So that's.
You show me where those stairs are.
This line over here is what Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov is talking about, the dividing line between the Ezras Yisrael and Ezras Kohanim, and that, he says, was a difference in height of 2.5 amas.
Would it be? I don't have all these questions. Would it be the Israelim can go there and the Levium also? It was just for Kohanim.
Yeah. Right, it's just that the Kohanim would be there as as a matter of course, because that was where most of their avodah was happening. But Yisraelim and Levium could only come up here if they had reason to come up there. Okay. And there were 13 places along here. Remember, there were 13 places on the outside in the chayil. In the soreg, in the soreg, there were 13 places where they go there. So there are also 13 places here. Abba Yossi ben Chanan Omer Keneged Shlosha Asar Sharim. They are counted against the 13 gates. Okay. Sharim Dromim Smuchim Lamarav. Okay, so here are the gates. All right. Sharim Dromiyim, so the southern gates. Smuchim Lamarav, so close to the west. Here's the west. Okay. Shar HaElyon, Shar HaDelek, Shar Bechoros, Shar HaMayim. So you got 4 gates here in the south. Okay, and we'll go into each one. V'lama nikra shmo Sha'ar Hamayim. Why is this the Sha'ar Hamayim? Shebo machnisim tzlachet shel mayim shel nisuch b'chag. This is where they brought the water libations during Sukkot. We came through this gate over here, Dafka. Rabbi Eliezer Yaakov Omer ubo mayim mefachkim v'asirin lios yotzin. And this is where the water is going to start bubbling and coming out. Mitachas and iftana ba'is gimos haMashiach. So there's going to be water coming through here.
It's close to the laver. That's why it's close to the laver, so the water was there for them.
Yeah. Okay. And opposite them in the north. Smochim Lamarav. So again from west to east. Shar Yechonia. This is called Shar Yechonia. Also Shar known as Shar Hanitzot. In the Mishnah it's called Shar Yechonia. Shar Korban is next. Shar Nashim. And the women's gate. Now, Shar Hashir and the gate of the song. Where is the gate of the song? I don't see Shar Hashir in here. So why is this called Shar Yechonia? Shebo Yatza Yechonia Begalus. So this is the gate that he went out when he was exiled. Okay. Shar B'Mizrach, the eastern side, we have Shar Nikanor. And you've got the two side gates over here so the main one over here is Shar Nikanor, and these two side gates over here.
Right.
Okay. Ayusham echad mimino ve'echad mismolo. Ushnayim b'ma'arav u'lo haya lahem shem. So these two ones over here are just labeled Shar Katan. Okay. So there you've got your you've got 2 here, 3 here makes 5. And 4 on each side over here, 8, giving you a total of 13. Okay, all right.
The Shar Katan that's on top.
Yeah,
one of the gates was closed and it was never open. It was supposed to be
no. That was talking about I think these 2 gates by Shar Nikanor.
Wasn't it at the top? I thought it was at the top of back of the hotel.
I think these are the 2 that we're talking about when there was one that the southern one over here, that one just stays locked over here.
Right. Okay. All right.
Okay. And now we can do Chazar as we are over time, so we might have to stop somewhere in the middle. Okay, go for it. We're in Tamid Hay Base.
1 second. I'll be right with you. Okay. Okay. Tommy. Dollar base. He would not break a highling of the Talmud, rather he would make a hole in the area of its knee and hang it from.
No. We're in Tamid Hay Base, which is Amar Lahim. He said to them, Chadashim Lekatoris. New people for the incense, yeah.
Why not put there? All right. The appointed one said to them, these who are new to the incense service come and draw lots. They cast lots whoever won the privilege of offering the incense won. Those who are new to the service and those who are old to it come and draw lots, and brings the limbs up from the ramp to the altar. Yaakov says the one who brings the limbs up to the ramp is the one who brings them up upon the altar. The Kohanim handed over their garments to the Levium attendants, and they would remove the priestly garments of the Kohanim from them. They would leave only the breeches on them, and there were alcoves there, and above these alcoves were written the name of the garments placed there. Before dawn, whoever won the privilege of the incense service would take the ladle, and the ladle was similar to a large taco vessel made of gold, which holds 3 calves, and the spoon was inside of it, filled with heaped over with incense. The spoon had a cover, and a kind of ring was upon the cover from above the spoon and its cover. Whoever won the privilege of the shovel service took the silver shovel and sent it to the top of the altar out the corner, and he cleared away the coals to the side and not to the side, and scooped them up in the inner coals. He descended and poured these coals into the shovel of gold, and about a cover of coals would be scattered from it, and he would sweep them into the stream, and on the Sabbath he would revert the copper cover over him. The copper cover was a large vessel which holds a less, and 2 chains were connected to the copper pot. One chain that a Kohen would pull on, and the pot would descend, and one chain that a Kohen would pull on.
Hold on. We overshot. I lost my place for a second there, and I think you're already in Mishna Hay, which is more than we need. Okay. Gimel Aleph.
Gracious. Okay. If they said to him, you are forbidden fat, and he brings the contos, and a witness says he ate, and another witness says he did not eat, or if a woman says he ate, and another woman says he did not eat, he must bring an asham talet. And the witness says that he ate and he did not eat, he is exempt. If two say he ate and he says I did not eat, remains declares him libels. Said Rameya, if two can bring him onto the more severe death penalty, can they not bring him to the lighter death penalty of an offering? They said to him, what if they would want to say I was an intentional transgressor? Transgression. If he ate 2 portions of kalos in the lapse of 1 awareness, he is liable to only 1 katos. But if he ate kalo blood left over offerings of pickle in 1 lapse of awareness, he is liable for each one of these. In this, many kinds are more stringent than 1 kind. When the following 1 kind is more stringent than many kinds, if he ate half an olive bulk, and again ate half an olive bulk, if they were of 1 kind, he's liable. Of 2 kinds, he's exempt. And how much time may it take for him to eat them? If he would say to them as patched up grains of corn, these are the words of Raya. But the sages say until it takes no more than in the beginning to the end that it would take to eat a pras. And if he ate tummy foodstuffs or drank tummy beverages, or if he drank a beverage of wine and entered the temple and carried in the consumption for as long as it takes to eat a paras, he is liable. Rabbi Eliezer says if he is interrupted or if he diluted it with the least bit of water, he's exempt.
Okay.
Okay. Next.
Menachos.
We have Yud Aleph Aleph. If shtei lechem are needed one by one and baked by one, the lechem upon are needed 1 by 1, baked 2 by 2. One would make them in a mold, and when he removed them, he placed them in a mold so that they should not be damaged. But the shtei lechem and the lechem upon are needed and shaped outside the temple courtyard and are baked within it, and they do not override Shabbos. The Yehuda says all the procedures are performed within the courtyard. And Shimon says always be accustomed to say that the shtei lechem and the shtei upon are valid both in the courtyard and the pagi. The kavitim of the Kohen Gadol are needed, shaped, and baked in the courtyard, and they override Shabbos. The grinding and sifting do not override Shabbos, but when Kiva says the rule that any labor which can be done prior to Shabbos does not override Shabbos, whereas one can be done prior to the Sabbath, overrides the Sabbath.
Okay, that's it. That's it. We're done, and I need to run at this point.
Okay.
The rest of the Chazar is yourself. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you.